Steve Davis, born on August 22, 1957, in London, England, is regarded as one of the most influential figures in the history of snooker. His journey to the pinnacle of the sport was a blend of natural talent, a strong work ethic, and an insatiable desire to become the best. Davis's early life was marked by a passion for various sports, but it was snooker that captured his imagination. Growing up in Plumstead, London, Steve Davis was introduced to snooker at the age of 14. His father, a keen snooker player, played a significant role in encouraging his son's interest in the game. By 15, Davis was spending hours at local snooker clubs, practicing relentlessly and honing his skills. He quickly made a name for himself at the amateur level, showing a natural aptitude for the game. Despite his relative youth, Davis quickly rose through the ranks of junior snooker, catching the attention of the sport's leading figures. In 1978, at the age of 21, Davis turned professional. This was the beginning of a remarkable career that would change the face of snooker. His early years as a professional were marked by a steady progression as he built his reputation on the circuit. Davis's focus, determination, and ability to handle pressure soon set him apart from his peers. The 1980s marked the period in which Steve Davis would establish himself as the dominant force in world snooker. He was known for his clinical, almost robotic style of play, which emphasized tactical precision, immaculate safety, and inflappable composure under pressure. Davis's rise to prominence was swift, and by 1980, he had already reached the final of the World Snooker Championship, losing to the legendary Ray Reardon in a thrilling encounter. However, it was 1981 when Davis first ascended to the peak of the sport. He won his first World Snooker Championship title by defeating Dennis Taylor in a dramatic final that would go down in snooker history. Davis's composure and tactical nous helped him navigate through a field of the best players in the world, securing his first World Championship at the age of 23. This victory was a significant milestone and marked the start of a legendary era in the sport. Over the next decade, Steve Davis would solidify his reputation as the most dominant player in snooker. He won a total of 6 world championships, claiming titles in 1981, 1983, 1984, 1987, 1988, and 1990. His ability to stay cool under pressure and his flawless technique set him apart from the competition. His dominance was further underscored by his consistent performances in ranking tournaments, where he won numerous titles and firmly established himself as the world's top player. Davis's rivalry with other top players, including the likes of Jimmy White, Cliff Thorburn, and Ray Reardon, defined the competitive landscape of the 1980s. His mental toughness and work ethic were key factors in his success. Davis's focus on the game was legendary. He was known to practice relentlessly, and his commitment to improving his technique was unwavering. During the 1980s, he became known for his Iceman persona nickname that perfectly encapsulated his ability to stay calm and composed under the intense spotlight of the sport. Steve Davis's career is defined by a series of extraordinary achievements that have left a lasting legacy in the world of snooker. Some of his most notable accomplishments include 6 World Snooker Championships. Davis's 6 World Championships 1981, 1983, 1984, 1987, 1988, 1990 set him apart as one of the greatest snooker players in history. His victory in 1981 marked the beginning of an era of dominance, and his ability to defend his titles and maintain his high level of performance in the sport's most prestigious tournament solidified his place in snooker folklore. World number 1 ranking for 7 consecutive years. From 1983 to 1990, Davis held the world No. 1 ranking for 7 consecutive years, a remarkable achievement in the world of professional snooker. This period of dominance highlighted his consistency and ability to perform at the highest level over an extended period of time. Davis's reign as No. 1 was unparalleled and established him as the undisputed leader of the sport during the 1980s. 1980s dominance in ranking events. In addition to his success in world championships, Davis also dominated the ranking events of the 1980s. He won numerous titles, including the Masters, UK Championship, and the International Open. His success in these events cemented his status as the most successful snooker player of the era. Break-building mastery. Davis was known for his exceptional ability to compile high breaks. His meticulous and methodical approach to snooker allowed him to build break after break with incredible precision. His highest break was 145, and he was among the first to master the art of compiling century breaks with regularity. This made him a feared player on the circuit, as his attacking game was just as strong as his tactical prowess. The rivalries and the Six Red Revolution. Davis's rivalries with the likes of Jimmy White, Steve Davis, and Tony Drago created some of the most thrilling moments in snooker history. His confrontations with Jimmy White in the 1980s became particularly legendary, culminating in a series of dramatic World Championship finals that added to the excitement and drama of the sport. Despite his immense success, Steve Davis's career was not without its challenges. As the 1990s approached, the snooker landscape began to evolve. New players such as Ronnie O'Sullivan, Stephen Hendry, and John Higgins began to emerge, challenging Davis's supremacy. Hendry, in particular, proved to be a formidable adversary during the 1990s as he took over the mantle of snooker's dominant player. Although Davis remained competitive and continued to win tournaments, his period of dominance began to wane. He struggled to match the relentless energy and attacking flair of younger players, and his tactical game, while still formidable, was occasionally exposed by the new breed of snooker talent. Despite this, Davis's mental toughness and vast experience allowed him to continue competing at a high level, and he remained a respected figure within the sport throughout his career. In 1993, Davis suffered a significant blow when he lost his World No. 1 ranking to Stephen Hendry, a position he had held for 7 years. However, Davis's resilience meant he did not immediately fade from the scene. While he no longer dominated in the way he had in the 1980s, he continued to be a formidable force in the snooker world. Davis's final years on the professional circuit were marked by a shift away from the dominance he had enjoyed in the past. However, he continued to compete at a respectable level well into the 2000s. While Davis never won another World Championship title after 1990, he remained a competitive force, regularly reaching the latter stages of major tournaments. In the mid-2000s, Davis began to focus on the exhibition circuit and television work, which allowed him to step away from the rigorous demands of the professional snooker tour. He had been a regular commentator and pundit, providing his expert analysis for the BBC and other sports networks. This allowed him to remain in the public eye and continue contributing to the growth and popularity of snooker, even after his playing career had slowed. In 2016, Davis officially announced his retirement from professional snooker, bringing to a close a career that had spanned over 4 decades. At the time of his retirement, he was still regarded as one of the sport's most respected and accomplished players. He left behind a legacy that would continue to influence snooker for generations to come.